To draw a free curve, we require some parameter. The parameter would be some random points. You can take any number of random points on the sheet. So, suppose you take these points like this. Anywhere on the sheet you can take the random points. This is the first point. Now, taking these points, first thing is to name these points. So, let us name them. A, then you have B, then you have C, then D, E, F, and you have G. After having all these points named, what is required next is to connect the points. So we will connect the point using straight line. So I'll simply connect point A with B, BC, CD, then you have DE, EF and FG. So I have connected all these points using very faint line. These lines can be drawn using 2H, H pencil or HB, very faint construction line. And these points to be marked using 2B or 4B pencil, use a dark one. Okay. These points should be marked prominently. So once I have connected all these points using various straight lines, what is needed is we'll draw the arc upon covering all those passing through all these points. Now, for the first 3 points there is a method, and for rest of the points, pair of points, you have another method. Methods are similar, but for the first 3 points a particular thing is valid. Now what we do, for the first 3 points, that is point A, B and C, for line AB we will draw a perpendicular bisector of the line. You know how to draw a perpendicular bisector? Taking A as center and little more than half of AB, you need not measure it, just visually you take it using a compass. Taking more than half of AB, you draw an arc on either side of AB. Now, changing the center from A to B, you draw another arc intersecting these arcs. Now you connect these points. Connect these points with a line. And this is the perpendicular bisector of AB. Similarly, I draw perpendicular bisector of BC. In the similar way, I will be drawing perpendicular bisector of BC. Now, wherever perpendicular bisector of AB intersects with perpendicular bisector of BC, we will mark that point. Let us mark this point and name it as 1. Now taking a compass, taking center as 1 and radius 1A, you draw an arc. 1A, you draw an arc which passes through B and it will pass through C. Here is the basic check of the precision or correctness of your drawing. Point 1 is equidistant from A, B and C. A1 is equal to B1 is equal to C1. Your arc, if you have taken the center as 1 and radius is A1, your arc will definitely pass through A, B and C, provided your drawing is correct. You have maintained some amount of precision. Now since my arc is passing, I will darken it. This is valid for the first two lines AB and BC, or other way around, first 3 points. From next point onwards, the method will change a bit. Let us see how. For next point also, for point CD or line CD, we will need to have a perpendicular bisector. So we first draw a perpendicular bisector. You use the method of drawing perpendicular bisector. I am not drawing so many arc and all, but whenever you need to draw the perpendicular bisector, do not use protractor or scale, simply use the compass, the traditional method. You have a line, you take little more than half, on either side you draw an arc, change the center, from other side you draw an arc, you join these two, you will get a perpendicular bisector. This part and this part will be equal, and this will be perpendicular. This you need to do every time you do. So CD, another perpendicular bisector you make. Okay. Now listen carefully. Connect center of the last arc to the last point of the last arc. Before CD, which was the last arc? It is BC. Take center of the arc BC. Taking center of the last arc, that is arc BC, the center was 1. And last point of the last arc, which is the last point of the last arc? C. You connect this point 1 and C. Join this point using very faint line again, and you extend this line to intersect this perpendicular bisector of the next line segment. So I extend it, and it again intersects at some point here, and we can name this point as 2. Okay. Now taking 2 as center and 2C as radius, draw an arc up to which point? Up to D. You will find arc coming out from point C, centered at point 2, will meet point D. If not, your drawing is not correct. It should meet. It will meet. From point 2, taking 2 as center and 2C as radius, you just draw this arc and it will meet at point D. And you darken it. I will show for one more line segment, that is DE. Similarly for DE, what I am going to do is I am going to make a perpendicular bisector of DE. It will be somewhat like this. This is the perpendicular bisector of DE. Now I will join center of the last arc with the last point of the last arc. Which is the center of the last arc? Last arc is CD, center is 2. Last point of the last arc is D. I will join it. Now you find here that these two lines, if you want to intersect them, they will intersect at infinite distance because they are nearly parallel. So you cannot probably have them join at infinite distance because that is a technical problem and you won't have compass to draft such a big arc. So it is imperative that we change position of the perpendicular bisector. How you can do it? You change the line. I change this very point E. I will change it somewhere, say here. I'll take this point F as point E. Okay. Now what I will do? I will join these 2 points DE. This point I have renamed as E. and I will join DE. Now I will draw a perpendicular bisector of DE. Okay. Now what happens? This is the perpendicular bisector of DE. Now 2D, if you extend 2D, it will intersect the perpendicular bisector at some other point. We can rename this point as point 3. Now taking D3 as radius, you draw an arc and it will definitely go and meet at E. This way you are expected to continue and finish the arcs. Now you see, initially I had taken all these points, but then during the drawing I found it, if E was here it would have been difficult to construct the arc. So it is not always advisable that you take all the points all together. Just as you go on progressing and then understanding, using your aptitude, you will understand where the next perpendicular bisector will lie and where will it intersect. Taking that, you take these points, next points. Now, this arc can be very beautifully drawn. It will, if you draw it very nicely, it can cover it, you can cover it like this, then it may probably intersect itself, come inside, go like this, whatever may happen of it, that depends on your drawing or your taking these random points.